This is a HeadGum podcast.
Sometimes when the world feels insane, you can take a little peek inside of Rachel's little brain. All these thoughts are swirling round and round inside. So join us on this journey as we take a little ride. We'll talk about dogs and kids and things. We'll talk about chicks and tampon strings. We'll talk about boys that'll make you cry. We'll talk about death, 'cause people die.
Welcome to Broad Ideas. Tori Dunlap is with us today.
Can't
the
wait.
financial feminist herself.
I love an expert.
We
Love an expert.
Love an expert. Because you want to know why? We are not experts.
No.
We want to know how to do the things.
Anything and everything.
And she really lays it out.
Why don't we listen to her lay it out and not be laid out?
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
You can lay down and listen.
I always do.
You don't listen.
Like a bagel aficionado. Like,
Oh
I
wait,
gotta
we
make
need
sure
to
the
hear
bagel's
all of
really
this.
good.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Good.
Okay, good.
We need this
no,
on
this
recording.
is what we need.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bagels
First
are my second
time.
favorite food
Uh-huh.
after fried chicken. And so if I'm going to a bagel shop for the first time, it's
Yeah.
an everything bagel with plain cream cheese because I got to test the waters, you know?
Yes,
Like, how
sure.
legitimately good is this bagel? Yeah.
Okay, want to know what I'm eating?
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Even if you don't want to know.
Even if you don't want to know. It's an everything bagel scooped, right? So they scoop out the like centers. There's not too much like bread bagel. And then they put the cream cheese. But it's not only cream cheese. It's their, what do they call it? Do they call
Spicy
it fire?
cream cheese.
Fire cream cheese? Anyway, it's spicy with like spicy, like hot peppers in it on the everything bagel, scooped bagel.
Y'all are in LA, right? Is this Bell's Bagels?
No, but Bell's
No,
is, I
that's
love
great.
Bell's. This is
Yeah.
Hanks.
Okay. I haven't done either yet. I was just in Culver City last week and there's a cute little bagel shop there that I can't remember the name of. But yeah.
But
it's
you
good bagel.
recommend? Okay. No, you know, good bagels are hard to find.
Yeah, but I judged her scooping out because I'm like, that's less bread. Like, how is that going to be better? It's less bread, right?
Yeah.
But then I accidentally took a bite of her bagel today,
She did.
and
Accidentally.
I
guys.
accidentally enjoyed myself because it was
My
like
issue is when the
crunchy.
cream cheese is like this thick.
That's how it
and
was.
for audio only listeners, I've got about 3 inches here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
How
I take some off. Always.
You
Yeah.
have to.
It's
You have
too
to,
much
even
cream
when it's not
cheese.
scooped. Okay, anyway.
All right, we're
Hello.
done here. So it was nice meeting you.
You too. I'm so happy to be here.
We were in a bookstore the other day and your book was in front of us. Where were we?
So that was wild.
yeah, where were we?
That was.
What?
We
where
weren't
the
even
hell were we?
supposed to be at a bookstore.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, why were we at a bookstore?
Because we went to Psychic Eye and they didn't have anything on astrology. So the guy so kindly
Right.
was like,
directed us to a different bookstore.
yeah. And then we were standing there and we ran into someone we were supposed to see that day. And we're like, oh my God, this is also kismet and weird. And as we're talking, I'm looking at you. And I was like, that's even more kismet and weird. Because
Look at that.
we're
I
just
know.
about to talk
Your book
to her.
was staring at us where we were stopped in an aisle that we weren't supposed to be in, at a bookstore we weren't supposed to be in, seeing the person we were having lunch with. Anyway,
It's
Welcome.
proof we live in a simulation at this point. That's so
Right?
great. I love it.
love
You
it.
do. Okay. You're killing it. Right? How it just starts. That's it.
Thank
That's
you.
how we.
End
That's
of
how we
podcast.
do
Thank you.
questions here. We just throw like compliments or
Statements.
comments at you, and then
Statements.
you respond.
No, you're killing it. Take us through how it started, where you are today.
We need to know it all.
We want to get
Sure.
rich.
We want to.
So
be,
I graduated college in 2016. I actually have a theater background. My majors were in communication and theater. I've been acting all my life. And I thought that's what I was going to do. And then I was like, I realized that financial stability is important. So I went and did marketing instead. And so I graduated college in 2016 and was coming into adulthood after the presidential election in a very different country than I think a lot of us expected. So I thought, and I think many of us did, that we were getting our first female president, and instead we did not have that. And so I started having a lot of conversations with people and realizing at 22, what kind of person do I want to be? What do I want to stand for? How do I want to advocate for my rights and the rights of others? And that was also around the time that I had friends coming to me for advice and guidance around money. Now, I was lucky enough to have a really great financial education from my parents, and I thought that was normal. I thought everybody knows how to save and everybody knows not to overspend on credit cards, because that was my lived reality. And of course, realized that that wasn't the case, and realized maybe this was how I could make a difference. And when I had money in my own life, even just a little bit of money, I had options. I had the ability to quit the misogynistic, toxic jobs I didn't want to be in anymore. I had the ability to start a business. I could donate to causes I believed in. I could afford therapy. I could travel. Everything about my life got better, and I could show up as the best, baddest, fullest version of myself. And I realized maybe if I can help more women feel this way, if I can get more money into more women's hands, everything can start to change. I believe that a financial education is your best form of protest if you're a member of a marginalized group. I believe that nobody has equality until we have financial equality. And so I started Her First 100K as a side hustle in addition to my 9-to-5 in marketing. I quit my job in 2019 to run this business full time. It is now a multi-million-dollar company with a New York Times bestselling book, the #1 money podcast for women in the world. And I've helped 5 million women be better with money.
Wow.
And that's what I believe I was put on this earth to do, is fight for women's financial rights.
You're amazing.
I know. I need help.
So do I.
I am here. What can I help with?
Well, so we were joking and not joking at the same time that we were going to start a book club called Get Your Own Bank Account.
Yeah, that was the name. That was the name we were going with.
Yep, I love it.
Right? Because I don't think that people have an education on money. They don't teach it in school. They don't teach you. So even when you said how to save, all the alarms went off inside of me.
Yeah.
Going, if you were to do a financial edit on the two of our lives, where would you trim the fat, I wonder? Is it the matchas? Is it the eating out? Is it like, if you were going to just nutshell what people are wasting their money on and what they could be doing with that extra money, what would you say?
That's a great question. And it is something that I spent a lot of time researching and thinking about for my book. Because the interesting thing that happens is when we do realize, okay, I want to start getting better with money. I want to become financially educated. Because you're right, it's not taught in schools. If you didn't have parents or family teaching you, you're probably shit out of luck, right? And so as soon as you realize, okay, I'm going to get better with money, you start doing Google searches, right? Or YouTube searches. And you're like, okay, money advice 2025. And the interesting thing that happens is that the financial advice aimed at men is actually really good advice. It is about making more money. It's about expanding, right? It's like negotiate your salary, start a business, invest in the stock market, invest in real estate, right? All of these things are learning how to make more money, expand, be, again, the best, baddest, brightest version of yourself. What is the advice for women? Shrink. The reason you're not rich is because you buy lattes. The reason you're not rich is because you have a shopping addiction. Isn't it very interesting that the very things that are called like frivolous, the spending that gets labeled frivolous is always lattes and makeup and blowouts at the salon and is never NFL season tickets?
Interesting. Yeah.
It's never golf clubs. It's never video games. It's very,
so
very gendered.
That's so,
Isn't that
I've
funny?
never even
Wow,
put those
no.
dots
Oh my
together,
God.
connected them.
So when we try to get better with money, not only are we actively shamed for our hobbies, the very things that like connect us with other women, the very things that bring us joy, the very things that make this goddamn horrible life worth living, right?
Yeah.
Not only are we shamed for those things, but we're not taught the actual good advice, which is negotiate your salary, make more money, negotiate your bills, invest in the stock market, right? And so a lot of people, especially a lot of women, focus on how can I like stop spending my money? And I think that is part of it, right? How do we stop spending money on things we don't care about? That's really the question we have to ask ourselves. Not how do I trim everything out of my life that's ever given me joy so that I have a miserable fucking life, right? That's not the goal.
I agree.
The goal is how can we start actually thinking about money as a tool and as a resource for us And how can we, again, expand as opposed to shrink? And my not so conspiracy theory is that all of the financial advice that has been aimed at women forever is about making you as miserable as possible. Because when you're miserable, you can't fight back against a system. You can't show up for yourself and others. You can't fight for your own equality because you're too tired. And I don't think that's an accident.
Interesting.
And my mind's still blown. Just like, I'm like,
Just on the lattes.
yeah.
Isn't that
Just on the
funny?
latte.
Yeah, it's always the latte. It's not, again, the video games or the golf clubs. It's this very like gendered feminine thing. And that's the reason you can't buy a house, or that's the reason you're not rich. And also, by the way, like, let's say I stop wearing makeup, or I stop spending money on makeup, and I stop going to the salon, and I stop getting a cut and color. Then I get told I look tired at work. And then I don't get promotions. And, you know, if I showed up on the cover of my book or even to this interview, right, and I wasn't, you know, a polished version of myself when I go on Good Morning America or whatever, then my book's not going to sell. So it's also like this double standard thing where it's like, perform femininity to the standard we expect, but then we're going to shame you for spending money on that too.
Oh my God.
Yay.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking about you yesterday, Rachel.
What?
Well, because you
Spending money on lattes?
no, just the contradictions that, like what you pointed out, the contradiction in it. It's like, we want you to do this, but then we're going to try and punish you for it. So, for instance, she got called out. Well, you got called out for talking about your sex life.
Oh, yeah.
And it resurfaced again and went viral that she got
like, how
a job
boring
pulled
that this is circling
for
again.
saying she wanted to be manhandled. But the part about it that bothers me the most is we want her to be a sex symbol. We want her to play roles on television that are hot, sexy, fun. But shut your mouth about it and don't say anything. You shouldn't have a preference. And it's the same thing you're pointing out. It's like, we want you to look beautiful, perfect, polished so that we can buy your book, but don't talk about spending money on that because that's what's putting you in the hole financially. So it's
that's the thing. If anybody listening takes anything away from this conversation today, personal finance gets labeled as this like very niche thing. Like, oh, I don't care about money, or, oh, I'm not going to like learn about this because that's very niche. All of this is a reflection of patriarchy. All of this is a reflection of the control that society tries to place on women, and also the double standard. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you want to wear makeup? Great. You don't want to wear makeup? Great. Because ultimately somebody's going to have an opinion about it. So as long as it feels good to you and you're making decisions that feel authentic and that feel great, somebody's always going to be mad about it. And the question I always have is like, who profits off of making you feel that way? Like, who is profiting off of shaming you? Who is profiting off of making you feel like shit? Because that's when the money starts to creep in and you start figuring out, okay, I'm going to make decisions that are right for me.
Right. One thing I think you'll appreciate, my daughter is at an all-girls school, and this year one of the teachers is teaching them some financial responsibility. Like, they have to pay rent for their desks. They earn money for doing certain things. Like, it's fake money, obviously.
Yeah, I love it, though.
But they're starting it early, and they're teaching that. And it's the first time I've kind of heard it, which you're saying, like, they're not teaching in schools, whatever. I'm like, that's so cool. Like, I really could have used that.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that education piece is so important. And also, there's a fallacy of financial literacy here at play, too. When people find out what I do, they're like, oh yeah, I wasn't taught that in school. And it's very similar to like sex education, right? Like, I went to Catholic school. My sex ed was never have sex ever, or you're going to burn in hell, right? Like, that was the thing. And if you are going to have sex, it should only be to procreate with your husband, right? And the fallacy of financial literacy is, one, okay, let's put it in schools, but who's going to teach it? And how is it going to be taught? The biggest financial education curriculum right now is by a man named Dave Ramsey. And if you are lucky enough to not know who that is, he is like an evangelical, super crazy. I call him a Walmart Santa because that's what he looks like. And he's just like, he's so shaming and so judgmental, and the way he runs his company is terrible. And it's like, okay, so if we're teaching shame-based financial education, right, that's very similar to shame-based sex ed. And then the second thing too is not only who's going to teach it and what's the curriculum, but if you are teaching somebody how to save money. That's so important. But if they don't have money to save, that is not really helpful.
Right.
And
Totally.
what we talk about in my work all the time is that we have been made to believe that if you are broke, it is a personal failing. If you are poor, if you can't afford a house, if you can't afford to get by, it's because you are doing something wrong. You're overspending, you don't understand enough. And at the end of the day, personal finance is about 20% your own decisions. So are you taking your financial education seriously? Are you managing your debt responsibly? Are you learning how to invest in a Roth IRA? But it's about 80% all of the rest of the stuff, the systemic issues that have a much bigger influence on whether or not you have enough money to survive. And like that coupled with financial education is the acknowledgement and hopefully the, the bettering of the systemic oppression that has to be paired with that education.
As the air turns crisp and the holidays draw near, comfort becomes the best gift of all.
Quince delivers layers that last. Sweaters, outerwear, and everyday essentials that feel luxurious, look timeless, and make holiday dressing and gifting effortless.
Honestly, the Quince Italian wool coats are at the top of my list. The cuts feel designer, and the quality rivals high-end brands, but without the high-end markup.
And here's the best part. By working directly with ethical top-tier factories, Quince skips the middlemen and offers prices up to 50% less than similar brands.
Step into the holiday season with layers made to feel good, look polished, and last from Quince. Perfect for gifting or keeping for yourself.
Go to quince.com/ideas for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
That's QUINCE.com/ideas to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ideas.
Most of my holiday gifts end up in a drawer or in the back of my closet or accidentally left at my cousin's house. Not this one. Mint Mobile is offering unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month.
That's their best deal of the year, aka the only holiday gift you'll actually use every single day.
You can get a 3, 6, or 12-month unlimited plan for just $15 a month. Plus, all Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network.
You can even bring your current phone and number over. No contracts, no nonsense, just reliable service that saves you a ton.
Don't get them socks. Get them premium wireless for $15 a month. Shop Mint Mobile unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/ideas. That's mintmobile.com/ideas.
Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. 35 GB may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage vary. See mintmobile.com.
Yeah. The first thing is you need to understand where your money's going. And I know this seems obvious, but the vast majority of people actually don't. They don't know their cash flow. And their cash flow is simply defined as like what's coming in versus what's going out. So if you can't tell me exactly the amount of money you're spending every month cumulatively or the exact amount of money you're getting every month, right? That's the first thing, is doing an audit of where your money's coming in versus where your money is going out. And as soon as I say that, people get really scared because it means looking at their money. It means like getting honest and like opening the closet where all of the stuff, topples out and like crushes you. And so we do what's called a money date at Her First 100K. This is what we teach, is sitting down for a designated amount of time. I like mine like once every month on a Sunday. And that is financial self-care time. That is a date with your money where you're sitting down, looking at your money, setting goals, and it is non-negotiable, right? And if it's something that makes you feel really, really scared, get yourself like a down comforter cocoon and like a glass bottle of wine and take out from your favorite restaurant and like make that something you actually look forward to. So that's the first thing, is do an audit of where your money's coming in and coming out in a money date. The second thing is, if we can automate as much of our financial life as possible, this immediately gets easier. So a lot of us probably know that we can automate our bills, right? So your electric bill can get taken out, right? Or your credit card bill can get taken out of your account every single month. You can do the same thing for savings. You can say, I want a portion of each paycheck automatically put into my savings so that I don't even know it's happening, which is great. That's what we want. We want our money getting saved in what's called a high yield savings account, which is just like an everyday savings account, except it's offering you more in interest. If we can just set up that automatic transfer that's happening without us having to think about it, we're building our savings and we're building the muscle of saving. So whether it's, okay, all I have right now is $20 a month. Great, start there and then work your way up over time. And I think the final thing is, like I said before, you don't have to stop spending money, but you do have to stop spending money on shit you don't care about. So one of the exercises I walk people through in the book is identifying their 3 value categories. These are the 3 areas in your life where you get the most joy. Those are where we're going to spend pretty unabashedly, right? But we're pulling back our spending on everything we say we don't care about. So for me, plants, I love them. You can kind of see it behind me. I have like 55 plants in my house. I love them. They're incredible. Okay. Those are my babies. That's where I spend a lot of money. I spend a lot of money on nesting and making my house feel good to me. I'm not really a coffee drinker. I don't spend money on that. But maybe that $7 latte every day is the reason you get up in the morning. Maybe that is the best thing that your money could go to. Great. That's a value category for you.
Yeah. I always say that. I'm like,
I want to know your value categories.
oh, I know mine.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I know mine are, well, so I like my latte. It's the whole experience. I like to go. It brings me joy.
Totally.
It ups my mood. It makes
You
me
get
feel
to connect with people.
I love it.
You get to,
yeah, non-negotiable. Another value category for me, and if I look at my family holistically, because I do all of the finance for the whole family, I would say it's experiential experiences. So whether it's classes for my kids or baseball or that, like, there's never a hesitance to spend money on those things because they're experiences. Classes for myself, all of that. Those are the one thing with experiences. I love it. And also make sure that you know what experiences means to you, because I'll work with people where they're like, experiences, and it's everything, right? It's suddenly like Weird Al tickets and a trip to Vegas, and like it's suddenly like anything you could possibly spend your money on. It's like when I give up sweets and then I'm like, I can have a muffin because it's not
that's
a cookie.
for breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
So for experiences,
make sure you know what experiences means to you. I'm the kind of person that'll fudge any line. So just make sure you know what that line is for you.
Yeah. Mine are like learning. So whether it's like I would consider Pilates part of it's like growth, right?
Sure.
So whether it's a class for the kids or a class for myself
Personal development. Yeah.
Personal development. Thank you. Or Taekwondo for Jeff. Like those are the value. I think those are the most important things.
Right.
And food.
Well, yeah.
For joy
she loves
and love.
Food is her number one love.
That's
what
my
about
number
you?
one as well.
Me?
Yeah.
Pilates for me for sure. Like that, spending money on something that is a non-negotiable, right? That brings me joy, makes me feel good, whatever. Going to the supermarket, I would say. I am obsessed. Love shopping for food because I love to cook. Cooking brings me joy. Yep. Providing brings me joy. I don't know what my third is.
Like I could really, like I feel like when I look at our finances, I'm like, I don't feel frivolous, but I do feel like there's probably major leakage. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, one, a lot of people, again, are spending money on things they don't really like. So you start needing to be more mindful about that spending and just looking at where your money's going and evaluating your purchases. Because the thing is like, I have this friend who's another financial expert, and she says you can afford almost anything. You just can't afford everything, right?
Like
so
that.
if you spend your money on this thing, it means that you can't have money over here, right? You can't spend money on this other thing. That's not really deprivation. That's prioritization. That's you deciding what your priorities actually are. And that's the value categories idea. But if you feel really good about your spending, then the question is, okay, are we not only spending in accordance to our values, but are we thinking not just about present us, but also about setting future us up for success financially?
That part.
And I think that's the part where a lot of women don't know what to do because, again, men are taught how to do that sometimes, but it's more socially acceptable for men to talk about growing money and to talk even about wanting money. It is not socially acceptable for women to talk about wanting money. It is evil or gross or tacky or bad, right? But I want money because I want options. I want to live a good life. I want to live a generous life. And I need money as a tool in order to do that.
I know, I get so stressed out because I'm definitely the person that's like, when you say sit down once a month and you look at your cash flow, whatever, I'm always so scared because I'm like, I don't want to know. I'm so scared of what I'll see and what I'll have to change.
Can I help with that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So 2 things. Well, 3. First, that is so common, Rachel. Like the amount of people who come to me, I literally just did, we have 2 programs that we do at Her First 100K. The first is the 100K Club, which is like your basics, your saving, your debt payoff, all of that. And we do live coaching there. And then we have our stock market school, which is teaching women how to invest step by step. So in both of these programs, I do live coaching. And I literally did this last night. And the amount of women who are just like, I'm so scared to look at my money because then I'm going to have to get honest with myself. And also because it brings me feelings of the shame and the failure and the guilt of like, why haven't I done more? Or why am I not doing enough? So the first thing to acknowledge is that is the most common emotion women feel about money is shame and guilt and just that terror of checking their bank account or like looking at their bills. The second thing is the metaphor I like to use is imagine you started driving a car but you had no idea how much gas was in it, right? So you're driving the car and at 2 a.m, suddenly you break down on the side of the road in a town you've never heard of with no cell reception because you didn't know how much gas was in the car. That's what's happening when we don't look at our money. We want to enjoy a stress-free car ride, right? We want to drive the car on a road trip, going on, to the state over with our snacks and the greatest playlist you've ever heard, right? And like you want to be so stress-free about that process. That's what we want life to look like. But when we're not engaging with our money, when we don't even know how much gas is in the car, we're terrified that we could break down at any time. That's not the life I want for people. And that brings me to my third point, which is you think money is the reason you're stressed out, right? You're like, money stresses me out, so I'm not going to look at it. You're stressed out because you're not looking at it. Right? You're stressed out because you have no idea how much gas is in the car. It's actually more helpful to know, hey, I'm close to empty, but at least I know I can get to the gas station. That's solace. That's comfort, as opposed to just raw dog in life and wondering like, when is this going to happen for me? Like, when am I going to break down on the side of the road?
All the time. I've run out of gas quite a few times.
That's the thing. So it's like, if we can actually look at our money, even if it's terrifying, and again, make it something we can look forward to. So if it is takeout from your favorite restaurant, if it is just like, okay, I'm just going to look for 5 minutes. I'm just going to do 5 minutes today. And then you're going to build the muscle of getting more comfortable. We always want to be spending and living our life in a way that isn't going to allow the guilt to creep in later, or isn't just, white knuckling panic all the time, wondering if you're going to break down any second. And that's the thing, is you think the brain goes, I am stressed about money, so I'm not going to look at it. Mm-hmm. You're stressed about money because you're not looking at it.
Yeah. I'm like the person that's like, well, I quit DoorDash, so now I'm gonna be fine.
Yes.
Like the
now I'm a
thing.
millionaire.
Yeah,
I did
now
it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I did it. I quit
did
it. Your mom is actually who helped me with that. Because
What?
With my bank account.
That's shocking.
Well, back in the day, early 20s era, I was having a lot of lack issues. And she would tell me, before you look at your bank account, I want you to visualize it and be like, oh, I love my bank account. I'm so grateful that I have a bank account. And I'm so lucky that I get to put money in it and everything I need comes through and from it. And she would have me do these like visualizations that it was safe to look at my bank and that I love it.
Yeah.
And that helped me start to embrace it and be able to look at it and feel safe, because my body would signal, you're not safe. And so she would have me kind of set that tone before looking.
Why hasn't she done that for me?
Maybe you didn't ask. I was asking. I was like,
I think
help.
that's such a great practice. I think that's so smart. And the thing that everybody wants to think about when they're considering money, personal finance, any of this, is I hear from so many women, they're like, I'm not going to be good with money because I'm not good at math, or I'm not good with numbers.
Right.
And what you just highlighted is the perfect example that proves that money is not about numbers or math. It is about psychology. It is about your emotions. It is about your trauma often. And women are very, very good at self-development. We're good at unpacking our trauma. We're better at it than men, at least. And we're good at understanding, okay, this is going to be hard work, but this is going to be necessary work. And I think that so much of money gets labeled as, again, numbers or spreadsheets. And it's like, it's not about that at all. It is about properly managing your emotions and working through your financial trauma, because we all have it. Even me, who grew up with a great financial education, I have financial trauma because I live in the same system everybody does. And I think it's so important to start there.
Yeah, I think that, so I grew up with a mom that would get stomach aches when it was time to pay the bills, right? Oof. And she would be like, oh, my ulcer. And she had so much, raising 3 kids on her own. And so I watched lack. Like, she would buy 4 rolls of toilet paper at once. And when those are out, it's like, we got to go to the store, right? Yeah. So when I first got with my husband, he'd be like, why do you only buy like 4 rolls? Get a whole thing of toilet paper. And I'd be like, ooh, that feels excessive, And he's like, we have enough to get toilet paper. I literally would have to tell myself it's safe to buy a whole thing of toilet paper. Yeah. And I would have to center myself before doing that kind of stuff. Now, guys, every cabinet you open is
toilet paper.
Costco toilet paper, baby.
But that's when it shifted for me, was looking at the psychology around it, I think is what you're talking about, so important, because it's not about numbers. It's about your relationship to reality, your relationship to society, the workforce. It's all relational, right? And it's like, if you're having an uncomfortable relationship with that, it's kind of an internal shift before an external shift.
Yeah. You just did a practice that you might not even know is like my signature thing. Oh. So in the first chapter of my book, and I'll have both of you do this if you're comfortable, is I have people journal about what their first money memory is. Like, what is the first time you remember thinking about money? Because it often tells you a lot about your not only relationship to money now, but also how you were raised around money. Because the vast majority of your money habits are cemented by age 7.
Whoa.
So by second grade,
Holy shit.
you already have a perspective about money. You have a perspective and habits around money. And unless you work to change them, you were brought up in the habits typically by your family, and you will reflect those. Now, sometimes it is very similar, and sometimes it's the polar opposite. So I see this with people, who grew up with parents who weren't responsible spenders. They save every fucking penny.
Right.
But they have no flexibility on that because they're so scared that the other shoe's going to drop. So I'll give you my first money memory. Theater kid, I wanted to go see Annie, the musical. They were doing it at a local regional theater. And I was like, I have to go see Annie. And my mom's like, okay, if you want to go see it, you need to save your money for it. Now, I was 4. I had no income source. Okay. So I was doing, pennies on the ground, and I was saving in my little Altoids tin. And I probably had like $2. Okay. Which was not the price of Annie. And that was the intent the whole time. My parents were going to give me a ticket to Annie. But I learned, okay, if I want something, I have to save money for it. That was my first money memory. But for many people, their first money memory is not nearly as positive. And if you're willing to share, I would love to hear both of yours.
Oh, God. Do you know yours off the top of your head?
I mean, even that toilet paper one is a great example, right?
Yeah.
Of like, oh, we can buy more than 4 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah, I think that like sums it up. I feel like my first money memory was that we didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And that even down to like the food other people had in their house versus the food we had in our house.
The snacks when you go for sleepovers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's like a big money memory of like nothing was ever stocked. You know,
Yeah.
it was always like, we can have this. Oh, also, I remember we couldn't afford Guess jeans. And that was like, you were such a outcast if you didn't have Guess jeans.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister had an old pair, so she cut off the little triangle and sewed them on another pair of jeans for me.
I love that.
So I wore them, but I knew they weren't real. And it made me feel really bad about myself.
Yeah, but it was the same. Like the status of that, right? The status of having certain clothes or certain shoes or a Labubu, right? Like,
but I do that with my daughter all the time. I'll get her the Fugs. You know what I mean? Like it's a non-issue, but I know what you mean. Like growing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your first money?
I know.
memory?
I'm trying to think. Like the skew for me is a little off because like my dad wasn't around. He was like off working or whatever and making money. So it was kind of like coming in from the outside, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So like we weren't wealthy by any means. We were provided for and like we had things, but like I don't really remember. I know our house had good snacks. Like we definitely were a good snack house. But I don't know. I remember saving money in one of those large Coca-Cola bottle piggy banks. Do you remember that?
We had one too.
Of course.
Like life size. And I had $2 bills, like full of $2 bills. And I was so proud of myself. And a kid stole it one day. I know. I know this is not the money story you're looking for, but I still to this day, and I'm like, I would have saved, that would have been cool, you know, to have. But so I remember like at least saving that. Like that was like putting money away. And my first memory of it, I actually do have a memory of my grandfather taking me to set up a Roth IRA, right? When I was,
I love your grandfather.
Young.
Yeah, that's
when
incredible.
I was young. I didn't know what we were doing, but he took me in, we set it up, and I was probably, I don't even know. I was young, you know?
Yeah.
So that would be my first like experience with like that level. I don't know.
I'm like, I could break down her whole thing for her.
See, I look at her. Also, in my defense, I have no memory and it's actually a thing. So she does know more than I do about my own life.
No. And like, those are the things where, as soon as it doesn't have to be the first time, right? But like, if you have money memories from your childhood, typically what happens is that you can start connecting them to the way you manage money now, right? You can start seeing, again, for me, I was taught, if you do not have money to buy something, you do not buy it. That was, largely a great piece of advice, but it also made me really, really strict when I started managing my own money about what felt worth it or not.
Right.
And I have had to learn over the past couple of years, especially as I'm making a lot more money now, that I can spend money on things that are a little outside of, the very strict budget because I have that financial flexibility. And so you just learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the way you view money, about the way your family viewed money, and also the things that you might want to change or the things that you go, actually, that's not the way I want to think about money in the future. Like the one I hear a lot, especially like we're talking about sleepovers or like friends' houses, is like, I went over to their house and like they were rich, but they weren't very nice people. Like I hear that sometimes of like, oh yeah, there was this rich girl in class and she invited us over for her birthday party, but like she was the popular girl and she was not very nice. And so I then said, yes, right, that rich equals bad, rich equals mean. And we all know a terrible rich person, right? We see them on TV all the time. And we all know rich people who are also really, really kind and so generous. And I think my goal is to make rich women, and my goal is to make rich women because nothing bad happens when women have more money. Like women are more generous, women are more caring. The entire system starts to shift when women have more money.
I think that's a huge point because I see that even with my husband because he came from a blue collar family. And I see his judgments on money a lot.
Yeah.
Like, even if we go to someone's house and it's gorgeous and I'm like, oh my God, I love their house, it's amazing. He'll be like, I wouldn't want it. Like,
Even if he might secretly want it. Yeah.
But I don't even think he secretly wants it. I think he's like, we don't need that. Like, what we have is more important. And I'm like, two things can be true. We can have what's important and that kitchen, too. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's okay to have that kitchen. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, you know?
Yeah.
And I see some of those judgments in him that he kind of rejects that lifestyle completely. He's like, we don't need that. We're good. And so I've tried to unpack that with him. And he just very much is like, it just doesn't fit my values. Like, I don't need that.
Yeah. And if that feels authentic to him, okay. But then you might have a mismatch, right? Where you want that and he doesn't. And that is a very common thing in relationships where money stories and money narratives start coming up when you manage money with somebody else. And that's a whole other can of worms, right? Is managing money in a relationship when maybe one partner is comfortable talking about money, one partner is very closed off, one partner grew up with parents who made $500,000 a year, another grew up with $50,000 a year, right? Like, those are very interesting cases. And it's the terrifying statistic is the number one reason relationships end is due to money in America. And we have to start talking about money. We have to start talking about money because not only does it help with that feeling of shame and the guilt, but also we want our relationships to be better. We want our friendships to be better. We want our partnerships to be better. And if money and your financial trauma and the lack of conversation about money is one of the reasons that divorce is so high, then we need to talk about money.
Feeling stuck in your daily wellness routine? You are not alone. Our friends at Cornbread Hemp hear you. Their organic CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress and poor sleep or just needing a moment to unwind.
CBD might just be what you need to level up your daily routine. Cornbread Hemp uses only the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD. No fillers, no junk, just full spectrum goodness.
Right now, Broad Idea listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/broadideas and use code broadideas at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/broadideas and use code broadideas.
There was no talk about money. Now that I'm thinking of it, like growing up and stuff. Like my
in
mom's
your house
the
and your family?
polar opposite, you know?
Yeah.
Love is
100%.
everything. Everything's fine. You know, there was never any emphasis on money ever. Which is
Well, also, you have an interesting experience because your mom never focused on money.
ever.
Like, she didn't prioritize it. She doesn't lead with it. She leads with love. She's very spiritual and connection based. She's a goddess. And then there was the financial aspect that your dad did provide. So you didn't grow up with the stress of money. And it's interesting, like, the way you've always been able to pull in money as a result of that. I believe it's because her psychology didn't resist it.
Interesting.
See, I told you I could
Well,
break
and
it
you
down.
calling
started
it in
working
right
pretty young
now.
too, right?
Yeah.
You
21 was my first regular job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you were doing well in commercials before that.
Yeah, a couple years before. But yeah, I guess I started outside of high school. But, you know, my parents were very much so like, you're not going to do that until you're done with school. So, I guess I started young for sure.
I mean, yeah, there's some people obviously who start when they're like 2 years old or babies. And like, that's a whole other thing. We've had people on the show before who, you know, Disney actors or stuff. And like that financial trauma is crazy because sometimes you're in that business to make money for the family. Right. And that pressure's insane.
Yeah. But then they came up with other laws and stuff to protect kids and like there's a whole,
And it might not be relatable for most people, right? Most people are not child actors probably listening, but a version of that that we see a lot is especially with like first gen or immigrant, like people of color who you are your parents' 401k. Like not only are you having to provide for your family and trying to get ahead financially for your children and your spouse, but your parents might not have savings. They might not have the stability. And that pressure is incredibly high and so emotional because you feel this debt to your parents. You feel this debt to your caregivers of like, they, cared for me. I want to care for them. And it's so hard to think about, okay, not only do I have to provide financially for my children and my spouse, but now I have this extended family I have to provide for too. And like, this is where all of that emotionality comes into money, right? It's money in itself is morally neutral, right? And that's one thing that I think people don't understand because again, rich equals bad or like wanting money is bad. Money is inherently neutral. It is a stack of paper. Now, what you do with it is when you start bringing the morality in. But money is so emotional and is so emotionally loaded in your relationships, in you, based on your trauma, that this is why, again, we have to not only start talking about money, but start understanding our own money story so that we can show up in conversations with our loved ones in a way where we've done as much work as we can do and show up to these conversations in a positive way.
I have a question on that because I think that what is the correlation between looking at that psychology, putting eyes on it, fixing whatever narratives you have going, and then the actual ability from that to make more money?
Oh, how long do we have? Okay, so the first thing is women especially, we equate our net worth to our self-worth. And so if I don't have money, it's because I'm not working hard enough, right? Or if I'm not a homeowner, it's because I've done something wrong, right? And so I think that once that's internalized, and it's internalized for all women, it becomes very, very difficult to unpack that first and to understand that, like, again, wanting money is not bad, but also that your financial mistakes are a little bit about you making a mistake and a lot of it about all of the systemic factors at play here. So the first thing is to just acknowledge it and to say, okay, there is a lot that I don't know and it's not my fault. The second thing is to understand that, like, with that, you need to work on being worthy of that money or believing you are worthy of that money. Because the thing about financial shame for women that is unique to women compared to men is that we all feel shame when we're not doing well enough with money. But women uniquely feel shame when we are doing well because we feel guilty that we're doing fine, but our friends aren't, or that we have enough, but maybe somebody else doesn't. And I see this with women who start making more money, who start building their own wealth. They start to get excited, which is the correct response, right? Yay, I'm making good financial choices. It's working out well for me. But then the guilt creeps in of like, I need to start donating all my money, or I can't talk about money because somebody is going to think it's bragging, right? Or I can't invite friends onto this trip, even if I'm going to pay, because it's going to show them that I have more money than they do. And I've experienced this as someone who went from 100 publicly, by the way, 100K net worth at 25 to multi-millions at 27. I became a multi-millionaire at 27 years old. I'm now 31. And this was something even internally that I was very conscious of. I'm a financial expert. I shouldn't have to worry about this, right? My financial trauma should be fine. It wasn't. It was like, oh shit. Okay. If I give my friends a gift for getting married, are they going to know how much money I have and go, that gift should have been more expensive, right? Like, this is the interesting thing. And I don't think they're thinking that. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but that's the narratives now in my head. So I hate to sound like a broken record, but like, talking about it is so important. Talking about it with a therapist, talking about it with your partner, even if you like have hopefully the kind of friendship where you can go, hey, I am worried that you think I should pay more tell me what's going on in your head. Like even that is so powerful because shame lives in shadow. That's a great quote from Brene Brown. Like shame lives in shadow. And the more we can bring it into the light, the more we start realizing, yes, I am worthy of money. Yes, having money is not a bad thing. The pursuit of money isn't a bad thing because I want options and choices and I want a better life for me and my family and my community. And if you can talk about it, it unleashes that shame for everybody and it makes it more socially acceptable. That's the reason why I talk about how much money I have unabashedly. And I talk about wanting money. It's the reason why we do the work that we do, why I host my podcast, why I wrote my book is if we can get more women comfortable with money, the entire world starts to change.
What did you do to start making money?
I started a business. That's like single-handedly how I went from 100K at 25 to 27. Right. Absolutely. Like that was like the rocket ship that got me to where I wanted to be way quicker. But that original 100K was all of the things we talk about that hopefully at least one or two that you can do as well. So I negotiated my salary and I didn't stay in a job more than like 2 or 3 years because my income, your income kind of starts getting capped because you have these incremental salary increases as opposed to when you go to a new job, you have more negotiating power when you first start a job than you will ever have at your entire tenure when you're at that company. So negotiate your salary. And if you feel like you're being underpaid, you probably are. And it's time to ask for a raise or find something better. The second thing that I did was I was saving automatically a portion of my paycheck. So we talked about that before. I was automatically saving at the peak 27% of my take-home pay. And that was happening without me having to think about it. Now, the question I always get when I say 27% is like, okay, did you just eat oatmeal and like hate your life? No, I was still like, I lived in Seattle, which is where I live. It's a high cost of living area. I lived by myself. I traveled internationally. I did stuff. But because I focused on those value categories, I got very specific as to what brought me the most joy, where I wanted to spend my money so that it felt good for me. And then the last thing I did is I was working my 9-to-5 in marketing, and then I started building her first 100K on the side. So as soon as that started getting going, I had my paycheck from my 9-to-5 job where I was saving 27%. And then after taxes, I could save all of the money I was making in addition with my side hustle. So that was how I got to that first 100K.
Got it. Well, I guess our mission is clear.
We have some work to do.
No.
The nervous giggles make me nervous. I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm helping.
You are helping. I
helping.
literally am going to go home today and look at my cash flow. Well, maybe not today, but I'm going to do it.
I love it.
Probably this weekend. And look at it and really have an understanding. Because I always kind of just wait to be alerted when it's too late, you know? So the typical stuff. But you've inspired me to actually inform myself.
And if you want to make it even better, like do it together. You two both like sit down at a coffee shop.
Oh, no, she's definitely doing it with me.
Yeah, I've told her that. I'm like, I'm happy to look with you. And
she's the numbers lady. I know you said it's not about numbers and math. I get that. But also I do have, what's the word I learned
But it's
recently?
the accountability part.
The accountability part, yeah.
Important. Yeah. And anybody listening, again, like get a group of friends.
Calculus.
Just like
calculus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like get together and do it too.
Yeah.
I think it's so helpful.
Like a party, a financial party.
Yes.
To
it's
learn
just like book
about
club
your finances.
Or like, I don't know, you gather with your friends to watch Love Island.
Roomy Cube.
I think what you brought up though is such an important thing for women, regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on with the money. Whether you have it or don't have it, there's an opportunity for shame and there's an opportunity to look at that, and it doesn't help anyone, right? So when Rachel was doing, there's been times where ridiculously successful, right? But one thing I'll say is never once did she make me feel like, oh, I'm sorry you don't have this. Do you know what I mean? She would just be like, where are we going? Or what do you need to wear? Or what, like it was like a us thing, right? And I think that's important, that there is something spiritual with money, that you do get to be more generous and inclusive. And you don't ever have to feel ashamed if you have more or less.
There's this quote that I think is so important, which is like, money doesn't change you. It just shows you who you truly are.
I'm truly rich.
And like,
okay.
Yeah, great. And that's what we're talking about is like you having money, as long as you manage it well and as long as you know your values, is not going to change your values. I could give you $10 million right now and you are still going to be a kind person. You are still going to be a generous person. And I'm talking to both you two as well as the listener. Like I could give you $10 million
Right.
and you're going to be the same person you are now. You're just going to have more money.
Right.
Do you want to try it?
If I had $10 million, I'd do it. No, it's like you're going to leave 30% tip now at every restaurant you go to.
I can't wait.
When a friend calls you and is like, this actually just happened this morning. I have a friend in the hospital and we're going to hope everything works out okay. And her husband is just so overwhelmed and is like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I need to pick up her family from the airport. And I'm like, I got it. I'll call a car for them. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Like, and it's going to make me cry. That's the feeling I want for every single woman on the planet, because every woman is already generous and so kind and such a good friend and shows up for people and shows up for her community and shows up for her children and shows up for her spouse. And like, what a powerful tool that can be of you being the badass that you already are and the generous person you already are. And now you have money to do it too. Like, how cool. How cool. That's the feeling I want for every single one.
We love that feeling, and we hope everyone experiences it.
Just real quick, rent versus buy in Los Angeles.
Olivia.
I know.
It's funny
you
you
asked me
today.
Just rent versus buy. Yeah.
It's funny you asked me today because I literally announced this morning that I bought my first house.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I literally have had multiple like articles written about me as the multimillionaire who rents. And so we had to basically unpack like, why did I choose to buy a house? But my perspective on it has not changed. First of all, homeownership is now a privilege, not like the American dream anymore. It is not accessible to the vast majority of people. So renting is kind of what most people are forced to do. The reason I rented for so long is because it fit the season of my life. I don't think it's throwing away money. I don't think it's, flushing money down the drain, which is what I was told even by my financially well-meaning parents. Renting is not only, again, now not a choice, it's a necessity, but it can actually be really flexible. If you don't want to do the house projects, great. You don't have to do the house projects. And ultimately, it's less about being a financial decision and more a personal decision. Do you want to be a homeowner? Is that accessible to you financially? But also, like, is that something you want to do? And if not, great, keep renting. It's not throwing away money.
Great.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Such good advice.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And everything you're doing is awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wait to
Thank
read
you
the
so much
book.
for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll send you a copy.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
We're going to read it
Yes, we are.
in your Get Yourself a Bank Account book club.
Yes.
Thank
Bank
you
account
so
book club.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great.
Please do tell.
I made a casserole. It's a sloppy Joe casserole.
Ooh.
Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe.
It was delicious.
Was it?
It was so good. Can I tell you what goes on the bottom and what goes on the top?
Yeah.
Pillsbury crescent rolls.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's just Sloppy Joe in the middle.
And I made a big old sloppy Joe mix. Like, I make my own. I don't use a mix, like I do all the things in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a big old vat of it. And then you put it in on top of the Pillsbury. And then you put another on top. It was so good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, and you put cheddar cheese on top of the sloppy Joe mix.
Can
Oh
I
my
tell you
gosh.
something you might not want to know?
Oh, God.
I don't love Sloppy Joe.
Have you had mine?
I think so.
No, I refuse
It's
to believe
sweet. It's like sweet. I don't like sweet.
it. Oh, my God. It's so good. And you get the ridged potato chips and you put it inside when you eat it.
Here's a
Yep,
question.
that's a great
As adults, I'd like to know your answer to.
What?
So we hosted a party, and you know when you have a little party, you get like the chips and the dips and the this and the that, and then people will bring things, and it's like brownies and pizza, like all the things, right?
Yes.
And I've noticed there are certain people that are very adult, and they will take like a piece of pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't take all the things that are on the table like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yes, to have that kind of self-control is admirable.
No, I mean, I love a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Smorgas? I can't even talk.
But do you eat all the things? Do you eat, like, will you go in on the potato chips and the dip and the this and the that and then the donuts afterwards or do you do it reasonable?
I prefer all the dips and the things, and I like a variety. So I go all in. I'm not going to like have a plate that only has one item ever.
Okay.
I think it kind of depends what mood I'm in. Like, if I know I'm going to be there for a while and it's going to be fun and stuff, I think I'm ready to try things. If I'm like, I don't want to say unwilling, but I'm not very excited about this party, I might rein it in a little bit and do a little smaller thing. But
interesting.
It might be a chicken or the egg thing, because maybe if I had more of a variety, I would enjoy myself more. But I like normally doing a variety, but sometimes I'm kind of a one and done. But as we've talked about multiple times, and I apologize, listeners, I'm going to keep bringing it up. Now that I'm no longer vegan, I'm trying everything. I had Halloween candy for the first time in 15 years last night, or recently, and it was very good. I probably ate more than I should have.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Vegan, you can't have all the candies.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
Elliot
it's the
just
gummy.
tried it for the first time. He just tried his first Snickers, his first Hershey. He's never tried any of it.
Wait, how was he able to eat it?
Because we got a medicine.
You did get the medicine.
We got the medicine so that he can try these things. And he was on FaceTime with his friends afterwards. And he's like, guys, this is my first time trying a Hershey bar. And they were like, what?
Did he love it?
I think he liked it. Here's the thing. Candy isn't what it used to be. Like that kind of candy's changed.
Snickers?
I love Snickers.
I love Snickers.
Me too. That was my favorite.
But wait, Kevin, one more question.
Yep.
So my brother is moving in to someone's house, okay?
Cool.
And he's going to share a place with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now this guy survives. I mean, survives on chicken, milk, and eggs. Okay? So he's a bodybuilder. So he is protein heavy.
Sure.
And it's all animal protein. So this roommate he got, he's moving into someone's home and they're a vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And he meal preps.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's going to go?
I think it kind of depends on the person. I would like to think that I was like considerate and people would say like, oh, I didn't know you were vegan. How long are you vegan? And I would say like for a very long time. So I didn't really push it in people's face and would try to be like mindful of the environment. So I think I'd like to say if they're a good person, there won't be like clashing or like you have to do X, Y, and Z if I'm doing this and that. I think it kind of depends on the person, honestly.
Rachel, your thoughts?
I mean, having never been a vegan, I've witnessed vegans that are like super, super, you know.
Mm-hmm. Capital V.
Yeah. And so if it's that kind, I don't know. Does he know what kind of vegan she is?
No, but he was like, he made a comment like, I'll just go cook at mom's. And I was like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. It's not just like, oh, I eat meat like we do.
Yeah.
He cooks in factory style. So if she walks in the kitchen, she's going to see 22 raw chicken breasts.
Well, has he brought this up to her?
He told her he eats chicken. I said, that's not the same as like, he's like, but that's what that means. And I was like, but I don't know if anyone visions like how much chicken one person could eat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me worried.
It'll be interesting. I'd like to think I was around meat all the time, but never bothered me at all. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, you do your thing, I'll do mine. But there, like Rachel was saying too, there's also people that will gasp and be like, how dare you do that in front of me? So, I don't know. We'll need an update because I think it's more of a person thing than the diet thing.
True.
Yeah.
And maybe their reasons too.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Like my mom's a lazy vegan. She's not actually vegan, really. She's more just vegetarian, but
she's like
she cooks meat.
Vegan adjacent.
Yeah.
You know?
I clammed up so hard on my first date with Leah. We went to this bar in Highland Park. And then we went to my friend's band was playing a show across the street. And I have to pat myself on the back. I was very smooth with I was like, where do you live? And she said Highland Park. And I was like, oh, cool. My friend's actually playing a show there this Friday night. If you want to, and so we did. That was the first date.
Cute.
And I was nervous. She walks in the bar. She's stunning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going on a date with a model. She's so beautiful. And we get a drink. We sit down and there's candy at the table. And instead of she was like, oh, do you want a piece of this candy? I could have just said, oh, I'm good. Thank you. But I was so nervous that I went, excuse me. So I actually don't tell this to people normally, but I am vegan. So I would love to say yes, but I technically shouldn't eat that. But again, thank you. And I still think about that 9 years later that I could have so much smoother been like, I'm good, but thanks.
But you had to word vomit your veganism.
Yeah, I was crushing hard, so I clammed up.
That's so
I
cute.
actually like that response. I feel like it could have gone awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If I offered a guy a candy on the first date and he said, he just straight up was like, no, thank you.
That would be weird.
That's true. Yeah.
I actually think
it would
that
feel
was
like a
the move.
shutdown.
I feel like
you did the right thing.
I think you got her in that moment, actually.
Great. Okay, I feel better now.
Let her know. We say we know that's when it happens.
Rachel and Olivia approved my the way I clammed up on your candy question on our first date.
Okay, another question for you guys.
Great.
So I was busy and I was driving, and Jeff sent me a text from a coworker, and it said something, and at the end it had an embarrassed face, and the way I read it while I was doing 2 million things at once said, thank you for saying what you did. You have a way with the ladies. And I was like, oh, babe. And then we were talking later, and he said something like, oh, you saw my text. And I was like, yeah, you have a way with the ladies.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, what? He was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, she said you have a way with the ladies. He's like, no, she absolutely did not, Olivia. She said, thanks for the deliverables or something, you know, something really, really above board.
Yeah.
And he goes, but my bigger question is, why were you happy about that? Why did you read that and be like, yeah, you do, babe?
Oh my
He's
God.
One would think that would bother you. And so then we got into this discussion of, would that bother a normal person? How would you take it? Or would you if Rachel, you're with someone and they say, oh, someone wrote them, they have a way with the ladies. Would you be annoyed or would you be happy? And same to you, Kevin.
I mean, you know my answer to this.
I think I would be confused. I guess it would, like you said, depend on the context a little bit. I hate that I don't have all these black or white answers. It truly depends on the person. If it's someone that is friends with my wife, or like you said, works with them and stuff, and I feel like they don't have other intentions, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Leah's extremely friendly and personable, so would not surprise me at all if people would say that. But if it was like a weirdo, is it different with
No,
guys?
this is like not a weirdo at all. So
Okay,
it's
then,
someone that she works with that's like a cool man that you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wow, Leah, you really got away with the men."
Uh-huh.
Would that bother you, or would that make you feel proud?
It's so funny, Olivia, because I really want to say I think I would be so cool, but there have been times where I have said exactly this, like, you know what, in that situation, I would be so cool, and then something like that ends up happening, and I go like, well, hold on. So I would like to think I would be cool, but when the moment happens, who's to say? Unfortunately,
Who's to say? Well, you.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Right.
The person being
And
asked.
Rachel, I
Yeah.
know your answer, but
Yeah.
let's hear
I'm
it.
always of the belief if I'm with a dude, I like if other girls like my dude in that way, or like think highly of him in that way, or like, you know, if he owns a room or whatever, that's always attractive to me. Does it backfire? Probably sometimes, but
But probably better more that way than the other way of just like, God, you're so socially awkward. You're sucking the life out of the room. I think it's better to be more friendly and stuff. I truly think that is one of the most attractive characteristics a person can have, is just like how friendly you are. Like when you enter a room, are people excited, or are they just like, oh, okay, Kevin's here too?
aww.
Yeah, I get that. Well, guys, it didn't happen, and that's not what was said. So
That's
all
not
right,
what was said.
one more question.
I love, by the way, so much that you thought that's what happened.
I totally did, and I was so happy for him.
And he's
I'm
like,
"That's
what
so
is
cute."
wrong with you?
He's like, if someone wrote you saying like, wow, Olivia, you really have a way with the dudes, he's like, I don't think I would like that, because I'd be thinking in my head, like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what were you making them think they had a chance or whatever? One more question.
All right.
Do you
Rachel's gotta
know?
go soon too.
Yeah. She's going to do exactly what the question is right now.
Great.
Do you know the origin of where Irish goodbye came from?
Please tell me, because it's my favorite.
Take a guess.
They were
feel like-
drunk.
And left.
Yeah, they call it an Irish goodbye because if you stay to say goodbye, they're going to take your car keys or whatever. You can't get home safely because
Wait,
that's
what?
where the
They
term
want
came
you to
from.
stay.
Wait, what? Explain that again.
The Irish goodbye would leave before saying goodbye, because if you're drunk and you go to say goodbye, people are going to stop you from leaving because you're drunk.
So it is drunk.
So they-
So I was on to the right thing.
Yeah, you didn't answer it correctly though.
No, I didn't. But at
No,
least
want to know the correct answer to that?
I just hang up without saying anything.
Yes.
Yep. Nice.
I know all. Okay.
Dude, are you
That
my
being said, toodles.
Don't do it.
I said goodbye.
Bye.
That was a headgum podcast.